Hello and welcome to Tennessee This Week. I'm Don Hudson. We're now past the August 2024 elections. A lot of results to walk through and some matchups to preview for the next races that come our way, of course, in November. Joining me today are WAT political pundits. We have Craig Griffith, Courtney Piper, and Michael Covington. The whole gang is here this week. It seems to be a rare thing anymore. But let's jump right into some of the politics, some of the election results. Republican Senator Marsha Blackburn, State Representative Gloria Johnson will be going head-to-head in November. It's really the matchup that we have been eyeing for months, and now it is real. Senator Blackburn will face current District 90 State Representative Gloria Johnson. Now, Blackburn and Johnson each coming out on top of their respective primaries. So let's get reaction to the results. We'll start on the far end, Michael, with you. Any surprises here, or exactly what we expected?
A lot of surprises. I tell you, the school board races were an issue.
Okay, yeah. But specifically to this race right here, okay, so to Marsha and Gloria.
Well, Marsha, no, there was no real surprise there.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, what about the numbers? Do the numbers mean anything, Courtney? I mean, 347,000, 143,000, do those really mean anything?
Yeah, this is going to be a really great race for Democrats. The original matchup here, when Marsha Blackburn first ran, she ran against Governor Phil Bredesen, and at that point, Governor Bredesen received 43% of the vote, and no Democrat statewide in that particular race had ever broken 40%. So this is going to be a really, really good race for Democrats. We'll be energized by the top of the ticket, by the presidential race, and we'll really see how many Democratic voters there are in the state. Gloria is tough. She is resilient. She is a really hard campaigner. And if anybody can bring home a Democratic victory for the state of Tennessee, it's Gloria Johnson.
And Craig, I'm just curious, for the common person that sees those numbers, say, wow, she got 343 and she only had 143 or whatever it is, give or take. Can you read into that at all before a general election?
Well, it'll be 3 times as large, the vote turnouts in the general election. Primaries are self-selecting and not as many people vote, so there'll be a lot more people coming to the polls in the November election, especially with the presidential race. So you can look at those numbers and say, yes, Marsha has a significantly bigger base than Gloria does, by some 200,000 votes. But it's going to be an interesting race. To me, I think Marsha is still have a solid win. The question for me is, will Gloria Johnson get more votes than Phil Bredesen did, a popular Democrat who had been governor last time and still only got 43%. And the interest to me is is the state moving any closer to being a more balance between Republicans and Democrats, and we'll see in that race.
It's interesting because, and I'm not going to drag this whole thing up, but in talking about Kamala Harris, we were talking at one point that one of the websites had ranked her as the most liberal senator at one time, and Marsha that same year was ranked the most conservative. So that's still who she pretty much is, and that's what she'll be running on.
Well, she's tied herself to the hip to Trump, so it's clear she's going to be, and probably will get the Trump endorsement.
Right.
So, I think that'll be a difficult thing for Gloria to get over.
Right. All right, well, moving on, incumbent Sam McKenzie winning 65% of his vote over Dacia Lundy, 35%. We talked to McKenzie. Here's what he had to say.
Biggest hope for the future is that the people of Tennessee now realize that education matters, but more importantly, our public education, our public institutions, that's what we're constitutionally bound to support, that we get back to that and stop trying to give these monies away to people that can already afford to send their kids to private schools. So school choice should be good, but all schools should be quality schools. And so let's get back to trying to fund our schools the way that they should be funded, bringing in great businesses to this state.
And I should mention, obviously, that's State House District 15 in Knox County. Sam McKenzie will face Justin Hirsch in the general election. I'm just curious, is that a race that's already decided as we go into the general election, or he's already the winner, or mean, was this the real race, and now he goes into the next one, or do we actually have a battle here?
This has been a solid Democratic seat for a long time, so you can assume that the Democratic nominee is the presumptive winner, but if the Democratic nominee does not do any work, of course, all bets are off.
Right.
This was a great victory for Sam McKenzie. He positioned himself squarely on the side of public education and against vouchers, and I think that message really resonated with the 15th District. I live in the 15th District. I'm in Holston Hills, and Sam McKenzie has been a wonderful supporter of our public schools and really pushed back against the voucher movement in Nashville, and I think we can continue to see the same from him. Now, if his opponent has the opposite point of view, I think all bets are off, and we can expect Sam McKenzie to win handedly.
And Michael, do you think that Daisha, was that a good showing for just jumping into this? Was this, wasted time, that there was no one was going to be able to beat Sam? How do you see this?
I see it as an exercise in futility. Sam McKenzie never did anything to justify a challenge in the primary. The results were as I predicted they would be. Every single vote that voted for him before voted for him again, and those who may have voted for Daisha at some point also voted for Sam. It was not even worth her getting in the race, in my estimation, regardless of where her support came from. And I don't think he will have any type of challenge from the Republican in November.
She still picked up 35%. I guess that's...
Yeah, I mean, well, I have a dirty sock theory.
What now?
Dirty sock theory.
Okay.
If you put a dirty sock up there, they're going to get 30%.
Oh.
It's just people are always going to vote against something all the time. So,
And we're not
but
comparing
Sam
Daisha to that, but
no,
it's
we're
just
not. That's a theory.
Yeah.
So I think that some of this depends on whether the dark money. And we saw the dark money in this election come to the fore.
Right. And we're going to get into more of that in a little bit.
So the question is, will they put any of this dark money into this race? I'm thinking not. I think Sam is a fairly strong candidate no matter what. I think they would pick a different race, more competitive race to put the money into.
Okay. All right. Well, moving on, Knox County Commission District 1, 100% of the precincts reporting. Democrat Damon Rawls at 76%. Republican Charles Frazier, 24%. We talked to Rawls. Here's what he had to say.
Well, now we have to get to work. We have a plan. We have the policy stuff that we want to do. And so now it's just time to get to work in September. After the inauguration in September, we'll get to work and start implementing those things.
I didn't mean to interrupt. That was basically a general election vote, right?
Yes.
Rawls is now in. Any surprise in this with the numbers, with the people coming out on top? Start with you, Michael.
It didn't ever appear that Frazier had a chance at all. He is not a Republican. So there was no real reason for Republicans to come out and support him. He has run as a Democrat, and once you run as a Democrat, you are a Democrat, and that's pretty much it. He did not have a base of support in District 1, and he had no chance.
Courtney?
This was another great pickup for Democrats. Democrats have been slowly chipping away at the supermajority, and I think that's what we are witnessing here, the beginning of Democrats in Knox County chipping away at the supermajority.
You see it that way, Craig?
Well,
Or is it,
I'll quote, some information from Terry Hill, who's on the county commission, and she said, once you start losing these races one at a time, your party could be in trouble. So yes, I think it's an indicator of something, but to me it's more of an indicator of the city limits. The city is getting more Democratic,
right?
But the county ring or the donut around the city is solidly conservative, and so I don't know if you're actually going to see that impact in the more county-oriented seats on either the school board or the county commission. So there's a limited number of seats that the Democrats can pool to win in.
Another Knox County race that we were keeping an eye on last night as the numbers were coming in, because it really was kind of going back and forth between Democrat Matthew Park, Republican Andy Fox. In the end, Fox was a winner, a margin of just 221 votes. Independent Stacey Bryan Smith was a distant third. Did the independent play a part in the final results in this race?
Well, he polled 200 or 300 votes, so you can see that the different margin of difference, could have been a difference had he not been in the race. So it was a very competitive race, a lot of bad blood, I think, between the two candidates, trying to get some petitions, invalidated. So, it's a nip and tuck race, and we'll have to see if that changes any in the future.
Yeah.
The two big commission races I was watching was this, the 9th District and the 4th District. And at one point, Matthew Park was within 15 votes of Fox. And what that tells me, and also the close margin here, is that Democrats should be looking at the 9th District as our next pickup district. We picked up the 4th with Shane Jackson, so we are +1 on Knox County Commission, and we should set our eyes and our focus on the 9th District next.
And Michael, your take on that and the results and the battle that went on, and of course having that third candidate in there.
I think Craig is right on point. That petition challenge cost Andy Fox, and I think it cost him big, but in the end, he had just enough to get him over the finish line. Mr. Smith should not have gotten close to 300 votes. He probably would have gotten more like 50 votes had that challenge on his for the petition not been undertaken by that group. So I do think Courtney's right that we should be mindful that last night's results are indicative of some degree of voter apathy, and that has to change. And until it does, there will continue to be an erosion in the amount of support that Republican candidates have in Knox County.
An upset on the Knox County School Board, maybe it's the best way we could say that. Incumbent Jennifer Owen was defeated by Democrat Ann Templeton in a three-way race that featured another independent along with Owen, Pat Pollist. Templeton got 51% of the vote last night. Again, so here's the question. Is it having that third candidate, did that make a difference, or is this just a statement of about a different party for a different party?
Well, I think that people are now just getting their arms around the fact that the school board is a partisan race. For 50 years it was a nonpartisan race, and now it has R's and D's behind the candidate's name. So you have to see, how that's going to flesh out in the future. The basic configuration of the school board is still 5 supposedly Republicans against 5 supposedly Democrats. We'll have to see how that works out for policy on the school board from now on.
Do you think it has a big impact on which way the board goes, Courtney?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Now, Jennifer Owen, who lost her seat and was a really great advocate for teachers and students, was an independent, but she tended to lean with the Democratic folks, as did Daniel Watson. So there still is that that balance of power within school district, and I've been going to a lot of school board meetings, and what I've seen is when somebody is absent or you need a clear majority to win and somebody abstains, votes don't pass with that slim of a margin. So I think we can expect more good and healthy debate at school board, and it's good to retain that balance of power.
And Michael, your take on this as we wrap up this segment, I'm going to having a switching hands, so to speak.
Ann Templeton won this race outright. She simply took the race from Jennifer Owen, an incumbent, and it was done spectacularly because that margin says the voters didn't buy Jennifer Owen's position. They just didn't buy it. And so it will be good to see how Ann Templeton governs as the winner of that seat. But I think she sold her case to the voters, and she did it quite well.
All right. Thank you all. Still to come, we're going to talk more politics. We're going to talk about campaign advertising and more when Tennessee This Week returns. Welcome back to Tennessee This Week. We do want to get into one other Knox County Commission. That was District 4. And during our break, everyone here had a lot to say about it, so I'm sure they still do. That was Republican Garrett Holt versus Democrat Shane Jackson. We'll start with you, Craig, your reaction to the results and really that whole campaign.
Well, it's, again, indicative of the city being a purple area in the county. This district elected a Democratic representative to the school board. Now they've elected a Democratic representative to the county commission. So it was, I think, more money was raised in this particular race than all the other races for commission. It was a drag-out fight between Garrett Holt and Jackson. So it's going to be interesting to see if Garrett Holt has any other future in politics here locally, if he runs for anything else, and how Jackson's going to work on the county commission, which is still 8 Republicans and 3 Democrats. So he's definitely in a minority on that group, and how he can advance some of his positions. He was a banker, and he's very interested in the debt issue that the county has coming up. They have some really big debt problems coming up in the near future. Then we'll have to see if he's able to use his experience to help address that issue.
And Courtney, I'm assuming you're excited about the results here.
I am. This is another big win for Democrats. I am really proud of us as a county party for putting such great quality candidates on the ballot and getting behind them. This was a very winnable seat for us. Shane Jackson had a great campaign, and as a result, the Democrats picked up another seat on county commission that we did not have before. And when you look at a couple of the statewide races also, I think what we're witnessing is the beginning of Democrats chipping away at this supermajority that we not only have in Knox County, but that we have across the state. When Democrats vote, or when people come to vote, Democrats win, and that's what happened with Shane Jackson. So this is an absolutely incredible victory for us, and we should continue to use it to propel us into the next election cycle.
But the interesting thing is 25,000 less people voted in this election than 2 years ago. So people coming out and voting.
So we found a lot of Democrats.
People coming out and voting isn't necessarily the issue.
And Michael, your take is basically, when you have a 51-49 type of election, as many elections have been lately, it just goes to show that there are just people on this side or people on that side. Your take on it? And it's about even, I should say.
Garrett Hope was fundamentally flawed. And the flaws that were exposed during his primary run against his Republican opponent exposed the fact that he was tethered to an ethics complaint, and he was deemed a rhino, a Republican in name only. And he and I discussed that, and I couldn't get the 29-year-old at that time to understand this is going to cost you down the road until you reconcile who you are and what your previous associations and affiliations are. You're going to have a difficult time with the voters. And he did. 2% loss to Shane. That was a part of what was exposed about him in the primary.
All right, moving on here, and we want to look around the area at races that were a huge focus of advertising campaigns, and one of those races, toppling a long-serving state lawmaker in the Republican primary for State Senate District 8, that was Jesse Seal beating incumbent Frank Nicely 56 to 44%. And I'm just curious here, because if you watch TV, and we're seeing it right here, you saw in the last month a lot of these ads, you couldn't miss them, nicely in the crosshairs of the School Freedom Fund, a political action committee backed by the conservative pro-business group Club for Growth, hitting nicely, and some other Republicans for not stepping up in support of the expansion of school vouchers statewide. That measure is stalling, of course, in the legislature despite the Republican supermajority. And I'm just curious, and on the Democratic side, I should say, Ari Ellison was the only name in the state seat District 8 primary, and that's who Jesse Seal will face in November. I'm curious about this whole advertising, and I'm guessing millions of dollars being spent on this to I don't want to say mess, but to deal with these elections.
Statewide is $3.6 million coming from one particular PAC associated with the Club for Growth. So Frank Nicely has been in the legislature forever. It seems to me he's been in there since the Reagan administration. So that they can come along and defeat a long-term serving senator with that amount of money and that negative advertising that's all you can call it. I mean, to think that Frank Nicely was a liberal. Right. There needs to be some truth in advertising laws applied here. But that group spent $3.6 million in the state against 5 particular office holders, Nicely up in Strawberry Plain, and Ritchie in Blount County, who switched from a representative to a senator. He also lost. And then they targeted 5 races, and 4 of them, they got the desired result. So money talks, apparently, in elections, and I think that's only going to show more and more dark money coming into races, local, state, as well as national.
Is this a good thing that this kind of money is being
I think it's a terrible thing because it's not transparent. Where is this money coming from?
Right.
Who's contributing the money? And until you address that issue, which you can't because of Supreme Court decisions, it's a terrible thing for politics.
These people that lost, or and then they were, I won't say victims of it, but they lost with this going on. Where do you think they stand? Do they say, "Hey, I'm going to come back in another form, another fashion," or is it, politics may be done for some of them?
It's hard to tell. I am shocked. I am shocked.
Courtney
that
is shocked.
Are you shocked?
I am shocked.
Okay.
I am so shocked. When I first saw those commercials, I almost spit out my coffee. Calling Frank Nicely a liberal is not true by any stretch of the imagination. Zero stretch of the imagination. Right. And for that kind of money to call in and lie about who Frank Nicely is, and the electorate believed them and did not elect him, is just crazy to me. Absolutely crazy. And what that tells me is that this dark money can come in, you can label a candidate whatever you would like to label them, whether it's true or not, and you can get your way. Now, Frank Nicely has been in the Tennessee General Assembly for a very long time, so there could have been just fatigue. We want someone new. We want someone different. But I think what tipped the scales was this kind of money that just came in and completely lied about who Frank Nicely was.
I'm curious, Michael, because of this advertising, what does this mean for the future of vouchers? I mean, does this have a big impact on it, or?
The voucher folks are going to keep coming like a powerful running game in football. What they did with that commercial and Frank Nicely was very impressive, because even I, knowing Frank Nicely as I do, I had to watch the commercial almost to the end to figure out what they were trying to really say about him. And I think that as difficult as it may be to understand or accept, I think this dark money in this election was a good thing. It was a wake-up call. When dark money flows into District 1 or District 15 in the state, that's an indicator that we need to be mindful of this moving forward, and candidates need to find ways to effectively counter that dark money. And it can be done, and I think it can spur more interest in folks coming to the polls and voting.
Yeah, well, when they're spending...
Statewide, the voucher program had some victories, but it also had some losses.
Right.
The state education committee chairman lost up in Upper East Tennessee. So on the whole, vouchers didn't really seem to come out significantly stronger than they did before the election. But that said, as Michael says, they're coming back with a voucher program again next legislative session. And we'll see if Governor Lee, who was last week was called a rhino, Republican in name only, by the Republican presidential candidate. We'll see if that takes away some of the stock that he has in members of the state legislature.
We shall see. All right, still to come on Tennessee this week. Presidential politics hitting high gear. Kamala Harris and Donald Trump trading barbs. We're going to look at which side has the momentum when we come back. All right, we're going to now talk a little presidential politics. One of the big things that happened this week was President Trump at the National Association of Black Journalists convention. Also, there was a lot of talk about whether Kamala Harris was the border czar, and I saw articles like the New York Times got repeated from March 24, 2021, that said President Biden said VP Harris will lead the administration effort to deter migration on the southwest border. And the House of Representatives on the same date said, whereas VP Kamala Harris was named border czar. Anyway, it's from a government document. I'm interested. She seems to say, and people are saying, that she wasn't ever the border czar. Was she in charge of the border? Did you think she was in charge of border policies and doing things?
The border has been a failure for the Biden administration.
Right.
That's a real black eye, and her association with that particular problem is a problem for the Democratic ticket as well. So was she the border czar, or was the Homeland Security guy the person who was supposed to take care of the border, and she was supposed to take care of things in the originating countries where the migrants were coming from? That's a matter of semantics. The problem still exists. You need to come up with a solution. of course, a bipartisan group in the Senate came up with a plan to reform, our immigration policies, and that was killed by Trump in a totally political move, so that would still be an issue in the election. And so I think that it's an election issue, and they'll have to come up with solutions to it.
Right. And moving over to President Trump, again, his big appearance at the Black Journalist Convention. Your take on his appearance and what he had to say, Michael?
I would say the boss did a fine job at that convention. I thought he spoke candidly. I think he spoke his mind about issues, and he wasn't bashful about it. He didn't care about the booze. A boss doesn't need to be concerned about that. He went into the lion's den, and he dealt with that situation. Kamala Harris did not show up.
All right. I think we're running out of time. Courtney, I was going to go to you to have to wrap it up, let you talk about both, but apparently I'm being told we have to wrap it up. So thank you very much for watching. I want to thank our panel for being here and sharing their opinions, and we'll see you next Sunday right here on Tennessee This Week.
The views of guests on Tennessee This Week are their own and do not represent the views of WATE 6 on your side or Nexstar Broadcasting.